all the moms in the world, let's chat it up. We're talking competitions, uniforms, and all of the above. It's the Cheer Mom, yes, the Cheer Mom podcast. Cheer Mom, yes, the Cheer Mom podcast. Cheer Moms, your podcast is on.
Okay, we're live. Welcome to the Cheer Mom podcast. This is going to be super raw and real. I'm really just kind of winging it. I'm like winging my whole setup, winging my whole life, as per usual. So we'll see where this goes. Hey, welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you are here, that you've chosen to tune in, whether you are on your way to practice or doing the dishes. I am honored that you chose me to spend some time with. And I just wanted this first episode to just be an introduction and what to expect to hear from me and from the Cheer Mom podcast and how I got here, just to kind of set everything up and give you a background on where I'm coming from in future episodes. So I am just a cheer mom, and I shouldn't use the word just because cheer moms, we do a lot. Moms, we do a lot. But I really want to hone in and on the fact that I'm not a coach. I'm not an expert. I still have no idea about a lot of the things about cheerleading. I'm just curious about how stuff works. And I've been a cheer mom for a long time, and we'll get into that in a minute. But really what you can expect from the Cheer Mom podcast is to learn more about the cheer industry from a mom's perspective, not from an experienced coaches or owners or even athlete perspective, although we will talk to some of them. I really enjoy learning about how stuff works and behind the scenes and understanding the big picture. And so you're going to hear all the questions that I ask and all of the topics that I choose and the people that I invite to be on the show. It's all from this, like, hey, you know about this. Let's talk about this from your perspective. And I'm going to ask questions from a mom's perspective. And I'm so grateful to have already had some guests that you're going to hear in upcoming weeks that really kind of let me ask some difficult questions. And I really appreciate that. I really want this to be something positive and hopefully funny. Hopefully you get some laughs while you're out and about, while you stick the earbuds in and cleaning the house, or maybe you guys are all gathered around the laptop at cheer practice. Can I dare to dream that anyone would actually do that? So a little bit about me. My name's Kristen. I live in a little suburb of Denver, Colorado. So we're based in Colorado. I like to say I'm originally from California. So I spent half of my life in California. And then when I was 15, I spent half of my life in Texas. We moved to Texas the summer that I was 15. And then when I turned 30, we moved here to Colorado, and we've been here ever since. I'm years old. So I lived half my life in California, half my life in Texas. Now here I am. So I kind of have experience from all three states. And how I got into cheer, it's kind of a funny story. I kind of fell into it. I was never really interested in cheerleading. I remember in fourth grade, my best friend in school was a gymnast, and she's a pretty good gymnast, and she would be able to do back handsprings on the soccer field. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. And I always, to this day, I want a back handspring. Never got it. Always believed that I could, but it turns out it's really hard. So that's like my only experience with tumbling, is like going to her birthday party one time and saying like, I'm going to do a back handspring at your birthday party. Turns out you can't just like do a back handspring at a birthday party. At least not when you're a girl and not when you're 10. Maybe some boys can just do it. We will forever be jealous of that. But I was really into the arts. And when I say the arts, I mean singing, dancing. I was in choir. I was in band. I did some theater and some musical theater. I am forever a musical theater nerd. So you see that come out of me a little bit, but I never really knew about cheerleading because of some of the dance background that I had. I did 1 year of drill team in Texas, in Austin, Texas, and it was a unique experience. I always wanted to know what it would be like to be on the drill team. And so I tried out, and I think I made it by the hair on my chinny chin chin because I'm super short. My legs are super short, but I had something. I don't know. They let me on the team. They barely let me compete during competition season with the dance slash drill team. But I did all the football games, and I had the hat, and it was an experience, and I'm glad I did it, but I hated it and quickly left and joined the show choir. So that's me. So fast forward, I had my daughter, and her name is Abby, and she tried a lot of different things like t-ball and soccer and all those things that you kind of enroll them into between the ages of whatever it is, 4 and 7. And we were driving by, I don't remember exactly what happened, but we would drive by this little rec gym every day on the way home from school. And she asked one day if she could go over there. They might have like given us a flyer at her school or whatever. So I enrolled her in just like this, I guess it was just like a tumbling class. Looking back, it had the feel of like an open gym. And I took her to this tumbling class, and I was working full time, and I was super busy, and my son was with me. But I remember being on the phone with my husband. I can't remember if I like called him or if I was already on the phone with him, but I looked through the viewing area at my daughter, and I had never seen my shy, quiet daughter so lit up about anything. She was always reserved and quiet, and I had just never seen something her light up about over something like that. And so the rest kind of is history. So she really got into tumbling, and they taught her some basic tumbling skills at this gym, but they didn't really have any competition or any way to really advance. And she was starting to get, she wasn't bored or antsy, but she's like, I want to do more. I want to level up. So we went to this other gym that had more of competition team and things like that. And she started with their trampoline and tumbling team. So she was doing that, and part of her team, she got like a free class. And so she was like, I think I want to learn the cheer thing. So she learned like all the cheer 101 stuff. And then I think that we had the next season, I think she had finally decided she wanted to be on their cheer team. And this was in Waco, Texas. And then we found out we were going to move to Colorado. So that kind of got put on hold. And we moved to Colorado, and it was sort of like, okay, do you want to do gymnastics? Do you want to do cheerleading? And she wasn't really sure. She knew she didn't want to do like all around gymnastics. So we go to this gymnastics gym close to our house, and it turns out they are doing their first season of cheerleading. And they said, we would love to have you on the team. They kind of evaluated her and said, we would love to have you on the team. So she's like, okay, I'm going to try this cheer thing out. And that was a 1-team program. God bless them. They are still dear people, dear friends in our lives. We see them around town, and I just have such a special spot in my heart for them for so many reasons. But they were a 1-team gym, and I think it was like a level 1 or 2 junior team. And we had kids from, my daughter was like 8. We had kids from age 7 to age, I think, 13, and kids with skills from their forward roll to probably a layout or higher. There was 1 or 2 girls on our team who had come from gymnastics that had a layout, maybe had a full. So that's what those coaches were dealing with all of these girls on 1 team. It was great for her to have that experience, but as some of you in all-star cheerleading know, that something like that is not always competitive. It just wasn't sustainable. And we went to these competitions, and then we would see all of these, what we know now as D1 gyms that were very different from our team skill. And so she spent 2 seasons with this gym, and then ultimately they stopped doing their cheer program because I'm not really sure, but I would imagine it's because, I mean, cheer is its whole world and you have to have experts, and it just probably wasn't sustainable for them. But we ended up going to this D1 gym called Peak Athletics, and that's where she was from then on. It eventually became Cheer Athletics Denver, her last 2 years of cheerleading. But it was the same ownership, same coaching staff that we were with for that 7 or 8 years. So really her cheer career progressed. And so that's the all-star side. We started very slowly and ended up at this D1 gym and stayed. She also did high school cheer, and she graduated high school in 2022 and is now a cheerleader for the University of Colorado Boulder. So, Sco Buffs. So that's kind of the overview of my daughter's cheer experience, but really what you're going to hear is my experience as a mom. So really my journey as a cheer mom, I think really didn't hit me until we joined that D1 gym, right? So we're part of this D1 gym, and it's a whole new ball game. And I remember just going to parent meetings. Like, I didn't know what summit was. I didn't know what a bid was. And I felt like everybody else knew. Everybody else just like knew what was going on, and I had no idea what was going on. And this whole world was so new to me. I mean, and cheer really isn't that old in the first place. All-star cheerleading didn't really start until 2001. It just wasn't a thing. That was just like school cheer. And so all of this was so new. I'd never heard of it before. I'd never seen it before. And I just felt overwhelmed all of the time and lost all of the time. But it made my daughter happy, and it made her confident, and her commitment to her craft and to the sport of cheerleading was something that energized me, and I really got behind and wanted to support. So I just committed to learning and supporting her, and you'll hear stories about how I didn't fit in, like the time that I showed up to basically my first team bonding in my pajamas, thinking that it was a pajama party, and it wasn't. And if you've seen the TikTok, a lot of people will comment and say like, see, that's exactly cheer moms. And that's just not how it went down. I misunderstood, but we'll get into that. And then I wanted to be more supportive. I got to know her coaches, and I wanted to support them, and I love communicating with people, and I found out that I could be a team mom. So I became a team mom and supported the team and the program in that way, and I did all of the things with the fanny pack at Summit, screaming my head off, no voice at work the next morning after a cheer competition. I somehow became all in with cheer. And a couple of years ago, I feel like it was in the middle of COVID, I started the Cheer Mom blog because I noticed that there were not a ton of resources for cheer moms to learn and to get support. And there are some things out there, but like from a mom's perspective and just from a like, what the heck is going on? Because a lot of times when you join cheer, it can feel like, I don't know if it felt like this for you, but it can feel like you're coming into the middle of a conversation and you're like, what's going on? But everyone sort of knows what's going on, like I said. So you're coming in the middle of the conversation and you're like, whoa, what am I supposed to be doing? How do I support my kid? And that's what I see a lot of new cheer moms asking in Facebook groups and in conversations is like, my kid just really wants to do this, but I don't know what am I supposed to do? What's my place? And so I started the Cheer Mom blog as an informational spot for cheer moms to go. That's more from a cheer mom's perspective, more from a mom's perspective. So there's things in there like pre-practice snacks and playlists and how to keep your athlete's uniform clean and things like that I wanted to support parents with. And it has grown, and TikTok has been a wonderful, exciting tool to use to kind of poke fun at ourselves. And the rest is history. And I just have a lot of fun with supporting parents, making fun of cheer parents. I kind of play both sides of it. So the Cheer Mom podcast is another avenue of that. It's another form of that. It's a way for us to connect. Maybe you don't like reading blogs, or maybe you're not on TikTok. And not to say that it's all the same stuff here. I'm going to talk to people in the industry, and we're going to have some conversations, and I hope that we can connect in this way. So you'll hear a lot from the all-star cheer perspective. I feel like I had more of a grasp in all-star cheer, but my daughter was also a high school cheerleader for 2 years, and now she's a college cheerleader, so hopefully I'll be able to bring some perspective to that too. But you'll hear a lot of things that are from the all-star sort of perspective, but I feel like a lot of it will bleed over into school cheer, and we are going to have some high school coaches talk to us about what to expect from high school cheer. So hopefully we're getting kind of the full gamut of the world of cheerleading. So here's what I hope that the Cheer Mom podcast will be. I hope that it will be a place where we can all learn. I hope that it will be a place where we can create community and connect. So here are some ways that you can connect with the podcast, with me, with the Cheer Mom blog, and other cheer parents. First of all, I mentioned we have the cheermomblog.com. So there's lots of resources. All of the show notes will be there. There's lots of free downloads and free stuff that I will mention throughout the episodes. There is also a Facebook group, so you can find that at the Cheer Mom Hive if you just search for it in Facebook. And I'm going to be going live in the Facebook group and on all of my social media channels on a regular basis, so hopefully we can hang out there. You can always DM me with questions and comments of things that you want to hear on the podcast. I'm going to be doing some Q&A. I get a lot of questions in my DMs, and so I'm going to try to cover a lot of that here. But if there's something specific that you'd like to know, you can DM me, or you can send me a voicemail. So there's going to be a way to send me a voicemail, and I might play it here on the podcast on a Q&A episode. So if you want to do that, you can go to cheermompodcast.com, and you can click the microphone icon and leave me a voicemail. And that can be anonymous or not. Okay, so that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about the Cheer Mom podcast, what you can expect to hear. I'm going to be talking to guests. I'm going to be sharing my own personal experiences, answering your questions, giving tips, offering support, and hopefully creating some community with us cheer moms, because I know that we could all use a friend in this crazy, chaotic world. And I'm so excited to be sharing this with you guys. Please connect, please share, please leave a review, email me, however you feel comfortable. I would love to hear from you. And I feel like I need like a sign off. I need like a cheer related sign off. That's your guys' first assignment. Send me like, how do I sign off on the podcast? Like, see you on the mat. I don't go on the mat. I trip and fall on the mat. I feel super uncomfortable on the mat. So, I will see you in the next episode. I cannot wait to share this show with you. Thank you for listening, and I will see you. I'll see you on the mat. see you in the viewing area. I'll see you at the bar.